I want to talk now about a common question that's given in business calculus, and that is find the equation of the tangent line at a specific point. So I'm going to do problem number 42. The instructions read, find the slope and the equation of the tangent line to the graph of the function at a specific point. So for 42, they're saying f of x equals negative 5/3 x squared plus 2x plus 2, and the point to which your tangent line is negative 1 5/3. Okay, this is on page 4 of your notes, so if you want to follow along there. Okay, so I have sketched out the function f of x equals negative 5/3 plus 2x plus 2, and our goal, just to remind you, is to find the slope of this line, and ultimately they would like you to find the entire equation of this tangent line right here at x equals negative 1. All right, so let's get started. In order to get to the slope, you're going to need your slope generating machine. And what have I called the slope generating machine? That's f prime of x. Okay, so to remind you, your f of x function, which is written above right here, I'm just going to rewrite that. This is negative 5/3 x squared plus 2x plus 2. So then f prime of x, using our power rule, the 2 is going to come down and multiply. So negative 10/3 x to the first power plus the derivative of 2x is just 2, and the derivative of 2 is 0. All right, so this is what I call the slope generating machine. So that should allow us to find the slope of the tangent line anywhere on this function, but we specifically want to find out what happens at negative 1. So we're going to do f prime at negative 1, which equals negative 10/3 times negative 1 plus 2. Okay? So doing the math, this equals 10/3 plus 2, which equals, if you change the 2 to 6/3, this equals 16/3. So f prime at negative 1 equals 16/3. Hey, I'm going to show that to you on my calculator, because some people probably are a little confused as to how that works. I had mentioned that earlier. Okay, so here's the function that I was talking about, just to illustrate that I'm not just making up a graph. Okay, let me quit out of this. So I said I was going to do parentheses 10 divided by 3, and I'd be adding to that 2. So I get this in decimal form. What I was suggesting to you guys in an earlier video was that if you press this math button, it allows you to change your number to either a fraction or a decimal. I'm going to go to number 1 where it says FRAC. So I'll just press 1, press enter, and notice it does change it to 16/3. All right. So I said that the derivative is slope generating machine. So this basically is the slope of the tangent line at x equals negative 1. So if I wanted to, then I certainly could go back up here and say, hey, wait a minute. If I were to write out the equation of this line, this would be y equals 16/3x plus some b. Right? It doesn't tell me what the b is, but it certainly tells me that the slope of the line is 16/3. All right, so now I need to go way back, the beginning of the semester, when I said that if we want to find the equation of any line, then the first thing that I would want is a point, technically any point on the line. Okay, any of them would do, doesn't have to be the y-intercept, and the second thing is the slope of the line. All right, so this is the line that we're worried about, right? So we already know that the slope of the line is 16/3. So the slope of the tangent at x equals -1, this is 16 over 3, so check. And then it says find a point on the line. So it turns out if you look at your problem, they gave you the point. Okay, so let me see if I can find that for you. It's right here. So they're telling you that the point that you're interested in is x equals -1 has a corresponding y equals -5/3. The question is, where did this come from? So if you're looking for a point on the line, it actually isn't too hard to find because you're going to go back to f of x. So to be clear, when you're looking for the slope of the line, this one requires you to go to f prime of x. Whereas if you're looking for a point on the line, this one requires you to go to f of x. So what I could do, I could go all the way back up here and I say, if x equals -1, what would be this corresponding y? Well, I plug it back into this function here. So I'm going to do the work up here because I have the space for it. So f of -1 equals -5/3 times -1 squared plus 2 times -1 plus 2. And if you did that math, you would get that f of -1 equals -5/3. Right? So this information is not random, but they're actually linking x equals -1 to a y value of -5/3. All right, so I'm going to go down here because I need that information. So any point on the line, and that point that we're talking about specifically is -1, -5/3. All right, so let's tie all of this together as you guys have in the past, where you need y equals mx plus b. Okay, so here, if we have y equals mx plus b, then we have all the players, right? M is 16 over 3, and your point, the x value is -1, the y value is -5/3, and all we need to do is find b. So -5/3 equals -16 over 3 plus b. Make sure you're showing all of the work. Plus 16 over 3 plus 16 over 3. Then b equals 11 over 3. All right, so now we need to plug it all in together. Y equals mx plus b, our slope. Let's go back up here. We found it. The slope of that tangent line, there it is, 16/3. Right, how did you get it? You took the derivative and plugged in -1. Right, so 16 over 3 x plus your b value, which is 11 over 3. And this is what y equals. This is the equation of your tangent line to the function f of x equals -5/3 x squared plus 2x plus 2 at x equals -1.